Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with the Weekly Comic Book Roundup. We've covered this week's Marvel books as well as one image book, and now it's going to start on this week's DC books. Kicking things off, we've got Batman number 120. Where we left off, Batman was investigating a murder in Manisa. Apparently, those accused of the murder were the members of Batman Inc., which it turns out, which Batman learned had been taken over by Lex Luthor. But it turns out that the criminal that the members of Batman Inc. are accused of killing, Abyss, wasn't dead. Batman went to the police department to try the police department to try and learn more about this, and he fought Abyss, but Abyss did something which caused him to, which basically blinded him, but more, not so much blinding so much as just he couldn't, his eyes became black as night, so he couldn't, light could not penetrate his eyes, so therefore he couldn't see. So the issue begins with Batman's contact the department, a homicide detective, or missing persons detective, loading a body bag, claiming it's Abyss's body, into a police vehicle to take to Luthor's lab. However, it's actually got Batman inside, and they end up going to LexCorp. Apparently Lex is waiting, and Lex has a suit he's made specifically for Batman, which has light, which is lit. But it turns out that it's not Batman that has shown up, but rather Abyss. The detective takes Batman to her apartment. He's trying to figure out what's going on and keeps himself in shadow so that she can't see who he actually is. We learn her story that her parents disappeared, and so she eventually became a police officer and entered missing persons, which is how she started looking into the Abyss case. But it turns out that quite likely the members of Batman Incorporated are about her be placed in solitary. But the detective figures she can get Batman in. He talks to them, wondering why they work for Luthor, and he's constantly being told that they don't need him. But Batman is going to fight them while blind, and it turns out that it's not that things are not entirely as they seem. The being explained that while Lex might have funded the new Batman Incorporated, Abyss is the new leader. Then we've got our backup story, They Make Great Pets. We start off with a little girl named Mia. Where we left off, a little girl named Mia, curious girl. Her best friend disappears, and she goes to investigate and runs into Batman, and well, Batman is adamant about her not helping, but she insists upon doing so. But that night, Batman ends up underwater facing some strange aquatic creatures, and Mia does some reading and discovers that maybe she found what the creatures are. Kappa, mythical creatures of Japanese folklore. Yokai. They inhabit rivers and streams and have webbed hands and feet, making them particularly strong swimmers. They are the size of a human child with amphibian features. While mischievous by nature, Kappa can also be deadly, their favorite food being cucumbers. Batman's not responding, so Mia goes to try and save him, but he's attacked by more of the Kappa. And however, Mia is able to stop the attack by offering cucumbers when it seems her friend is still alive, potentially, and is calling to her. So we don't see said friend, and that is where the story ends for now. I mean, I gotta say, it's a fun backup story. The main story is quite interesting. I can't say I saw that coming with Abyss taking over Batman Incorporated. I'd already been aware of Lex Luthor making a bat suit, as that kind of got shown off, and that's been popping up since this list is for next month, or I think next month we're released, so yeah. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Detective Comics number 1051. Where we left off, in Shadows of the Bat, we learned that Dr. Ware is part of what's making Dr. Ware's treatment work so well is an associate of his that is kept secret. That associate being none other than the villain Psycho-Pirate. So, we start off at Keystone County Airport months earlier. The plane lands, and in the plane is a box in which Psycho-Pirate has secreted himself. Later in Gotham, Ware runs into him. Ware's got a con in mind. But apparently someone is coming for Psycho-Pirate. Explains that the people coming for him are dangerous. They're technically not even people. I assume he's referring to Darkseid and whatnot. But Ware needs to know if Psycho-Pirate can still do his shtick. Apparently he can. Apparently the drug Numb is blowing up across Gotham. And it seems as though construction will be occurring in the area of the underground where the cave is situated. Oracle's created some red tape to stall, but at some point the temporary digs aren't going to cut it. The satellite caves aren't going to cut it anymore. Elsewhere, Ware is meeting with the party crasher. It turns out that half of the pills that he delivered to them are salt pills. Ware claims he's going to fix it. The leader of the party crashers explains that she's heard that that Ware's also selling to the Penguin, or to the Penguin, and so the leader of the party crashers tells him that Ware owes her twice the shipment in 24 hours on the house, and so he says he'll fix things. As he's leaving, as Ware's leaving from his meeting with the party crashers, the Penguin calls him. As apparently a portion of his shipment of Numb contained an ineffective product. He's given 24 hours, or Ware and everyone he knows will wash up on the docks of Gotham City as chum. In Arkham Tower, we see on day 18, Chase Meridian is talking with one of her patients, and he's telling her about a movie he remembers watching. And she asks him that he had watched, and she asks him how thinking about that movie, watching that movie, makes him feel, to which he says he feels fine. But Ware calls Meridian, basically wanting her to step up, to hurry up and make her report to Nakano, so that Nakano can sign the paperwork and get the money. But she really wants to talk to Dr. Ocean first, and won't sign off on anything until she has. Nakano, Ware then talks to Nakano, trying to get him to budge on the money, but he won't. But Ware offers him a tour of the tower. In the tower, Dick Grayson sets some spyware to check to basically keep an eye on the inventory of Numb. And it seems as though Dr. Ocean is actually a psychopirate. But Ware's trying to make sure he can keep everything running smoothly, and so far it's working. But he overexerts himself during dinner time, and all the patients stop feeling calm and fine. A fight begins. One of the patients that Chase had been talking to about the movie stabs a guard in the chest with a spoon, and, well, things just go from bad to worse. The doors all lock, and it becomes fairly clear that it's actually Harley in there, not someone impersonating Harley. Dick springs into action trying to get her, but Anna Volshin grabs him, asks if he remembers her. Looks like it actually might be during breakfast, but the alarm goes off, and apparently it's during Helena's session. Helena tells Chase to call Dr. Frau, tell her what's happened, and goes out to basically, do the hero thing, and runs into Nero 19, taking him down fairly quickly. She asks her to remember what's happened. Ware finds Psycho Pirate regaining his consciousness and basically puts his mask back on him and basically tells him to stop everything now. And, well, so Psycho Pirate does by basically making everyone sleep and forget, which is where our main story ends. Which brings us to House of Gotham, our backup story. Where we left off here, the boy had tagged along on a field trip to the orphanage led by Scarecrow, an attempt to kill Bruce Wayne, but it failed, and Crane, in an effort to spare the boy any troubles, gave the boy a massive dose of fear toxin. But the boy has been brought into Arkham, passes by the Scarecrow, Clayface, but he's being adopted by a man named Mr. Gentoo. But he gets into the car, and turns out that he's been adopted by none other than the Penguin. Turns out that the boy is going to work at the Iceberg Lounge. Coat check. He's given a room in the basement of the lounge with a mattress. To explain that the bathroom, there's a nice bathroom with showers in the dressing room at the end of the hall. He's told not to use it while the girls are there. They don't like it. when the girls are there, he's used the one upstairs, with Penguin explaining it's not the Ritz, but he's welcome there until he finds himself a place. Um, Penguin further adds that while the boy is there, when the kitchen staff is there, they'll make the boy anything he wants. Otherwise, he can help himself. Also, he tells but with the help yourself part, it's hope you learned how to cook, but the boy didn't. So, but the Penguin says there's a good diner across the street. With Penguin further adding that the boy's not a prisoner. Yeah, he'll work there, and he will work, but his time is his own. And Penguin gives him an advance on his first paycheck. Basically, go out and have some fun. So he gets some ice cream, buys a toy dinosaur, some popcorn. Just walk through the city, but he goes down the wrong alley, and guy attacks him. But Penguin shows up, and the guy who attacked him was unaware that the boy was with the Penguin. So, but the boy says the Penguin he wants the Penguin to let him go, and but instead, the Penguin stomps the guy to death. And the Penguin tells the boy it's a good lesson for him. We don't always get what we want. And as they walk away from the corpse, this is where the story ends. I'm really, honestly, I'm probably, at this point, I think I'm looking forward to reading detective comics more than I am Batman's solo book. House of Gotham's great, a great backup story. I really hope that with the length of it, it ends up being collected into its own volume. Shadows of the Bat is also an incredibly interesting story. My only problem with it is I'd prefer to kind of see it retold in a linear sense. Day 1, 2, 3, as opposed to going all over from day 1, day 20, day 12. You get the idea. Anyway, moving on to our next book, we've got Arkham City, Order of the World, number 5. Where we left off, Ten-Eyed Man had lost one of his hands and was in the hospital. Dr. Joy, meanwhile, had found 2 of her previous patients, Dr. Phosphorus, and I actually cannot remember the vampire. But, so the issue begins with the ghost of Amadeus Arkham appearing and waking and freeing the March Hare, saying apparently the ghost will take him to Mad Hatter. But Dr. Joy is informed that it's not the ghost of Amadeus Arkham. It is in fact No-Face. Joy explains that they always called her Dr. No-Face because she liked to pretend she was one of the doctors. She'd shadow them all, the Arkham staff, trying to please them. Sometimes they even let her assist in the rounds. She could change her appearance at will. And apparently, it's explained that No-Face's whole shtick is making others happy. But the ghost of Amadeus Arkham frees Double X, explaining that his special cell will be in the new asylum. Dr. Phosphorus is is not exactly accepting of it. Is somewhat condescending to Dr. Joy about the fact that she was actually listening to the Ten-Eyed Man. But the ghost of Amadeus Arkham frees Ratcatcher, saying that he won't be in a cage; he'll have a maze to run through. And Dr. Joyce asked if she was followed to the apartment that Phosphorus and his lady friend are in. She was, apparently, by Azrael, who attacks. But, his first target to attack is, in fact, Dr. Phosphorus, who takes a few punches from Azrael and then explains that he's off his meds. Radiation is eating away his humanity, which makes it rather hard to feel punches, or anything, really. And he promptly takes down Azrael. Back at the hospital, he goes home and Arkham frees the Ten-Eyed Man. And he explains that he's missing 5 of his eyes. And he needs new ones. But, I still can't remember her name. The vampire, Dr. Foster's vampiric partner takes a bite out of Azrael, which knocks him out, and they stop to take him to the hospital. Back at the hospital, Detective Stone wakes up and finds that basically all of the former Arkham inmates are gone, and finds an orderly that had her eyes removed by the Ten-Eyed Man. Ten-Eyed Man escapes and ends up right in front of Dr. Stone's wife and child. But before the Ten-Eyed Man can do anything to the child, Dr. Joy shows up, and they head to the new asylum. When they arrive, going through various... they go to find the ghost who leads them to the new asylum. Pig's Asylum. A meatpacking plant that Professor Pig is using as a hideout. And that is where the story ends. Or that is where the issue ends. Interesting, to say the least. I stand by what I've been saying about Arkham City, Order of the World. It could easily have just been released in a single volume as an original graphic novel, and probably should have been. The only way it ties into current Batman books is by constantly bringing up the events of 8A. Arkham Tower is not mentioned. This miniseries began during Fear State, but it had no real bearing on the story overall, except mention of the Magistrate, and that's pretty much it. But anyway, moving on to our last book for now, we've got The Joker Presents a Puzzlebox, number 7. Where we left off, things were getting extremely hectic during over the course of the evening of interrogating the Joker and, well, most of the Gotham rogues. But the Joker is... Gordon and Bullock decide they're done dealing with the Joker and toss him into the holding cell with the rest of the various Bat villains. Later on, Gordon and Bullock are having a chat over coffee. They've got Two-Face's ledger, but they know that some of the pages have been torn out. Bullock wonders maybe the Joker took them out, but Gordon thinks it could have been one of their own. Trying to figure out who touched the book since the raid. But outside, a bomb goes off, an explosion goes off, and more would do as well. As the explosions go off, Gordon realizes that they're going off in neighborhoods controlled by Joker's rivals, hitting all their headquarters. And Gordon realizes the way he's doing it is the fake boxes. They were bombs. And Bullock reminds Gordon that there's a box at the precinct. Gordon goes in. The old lady's being escorted out. Gordon tells the SWAT officer Bachman to get the woman to Gotham General and do not let her out of his sight. The Joker's coming for her. But Joker's still in the holding cell. They go to check the evidence, and the box is shattered, and so whatever was in it is gone, which leads Gordon to ask what was in it. It's explained that there was no bomb, just a psychedelic gas attack. It's believed that the source of the gas was the Riddler. With bombs, someone cut Riddler's body open, put a gas canister inside, someone set it off. Further investigation of the scene has Bullock discovered the body of Officer Bachman. It's revealed that Officer Bachman has been replaced by the Joker. The Joker has replaced Officer Bachman, and that the old lady is none other than Punchline. But Deathstroke and Catwoman start to make an escape. However, Deathstroke pulls a gun on everyone else trying to escape with them, saying that they can't leave. That's because letting them leave ain't part of the job. Nobody leaves but Deathstroke, Catwoman, and Joker. Then Batman shows up, leading to a fight between Batman and Deathstroke. Catwoman states that that's their cue to leave, but Joker says he wants to stay and watch the fight, see how it turns out, and Catwoman simply states that she's seen the fight before, and it doesn't end the way Joker wants it to. Joker grabs a gun. Catwoman's cornered by the police. However, Two-Face takes the cell key that she has and releases everyone. A smoke grenade goes off, which leads to a large explosion, and Joker is really none other than Clayface. But turns out that the plan was devised by Joker back at the fight where Riddler talked to him. So he hired Catwoman. Find the pieces of the box. Catwoman hired Deathstroke to kidnap Riddler. Joker stole the ledger, removed certain pages. Punchline hired Clayface. Catwoman found the boxes. Fake ones were made and distributed. Then came the grand reveal that everyone was secretly working for Joker. Punchline is the old woman fired off some shots outside, made an anonymous tip. Clayface appeared to be Batman. And Mad Hatter's hat was secreted away within Clayface. And it wasn't the Riddler that Mr. Freeze was talking about, rather the Joker. But then came the big reveal. Catwoman had to put the gas canister inside Riddler's body. But then comes the great riddle. Who killed the Riddler? No one did. Or who cares? But turns out that the box could only be used once. But Joker already used it because there was one part of the plan he couldn't figure out how to make it look like Riddler was dead. So he used the box and made a dead copy of the Riddler. Later, Catwoman goes to see Riddler or Joker about, well, what her cut of everything, and Joker explains that he got nothing, and when it comes to since he got nothing, Catwoman is more than welcome to half of it. And she accuses him of betraying her. He thinks he's a bad partner, and she agrees, which is why she got out and made a deal with a new partner, Batman. And the story ends with Batman beating the hell out of the Joker. It was a fun series. And there were some parts where it really kind of made my brain hurt. I kind of wish it felt more like something that was actually happened within the confines of current Bat continuity. But oh well, it was still a fun series, and yeah, it was great. I have to admit, I was really curious as to just how it was going to turn out that Riddler. But I figured the whole shtick was that Clayface was Riddler, but looks like I was wrong. But anyway, that'll do it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.